In the last chapter, chapter 2, we saw Krishna describing two paths that a person can adopt in order to streamline his life, in order to adapt, in order to evolve into. One was the path of actions, and the other was the path of knowledge. And we are going to start from today chapter 3, which is exclusively focused on Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is the yoga of the actions, yoga that is performed using the buddhi. This is one of the important chapters in Bhagwad Gita, where this is quite applicable to most of us. Unlike many other chapters, this chapter is exclusively dedicated as to how one has to live in this world, and one has to perform one's actions, and how to offer or how to accept the fruits of such actions. What to do with that? He's going to describe everything in this chapter. So let's understand that. Let's go with the first verse in chapter 3. Let me share the screen. First verse states Arjuna speaking. Arjuna uvacha jyayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana tat kim karmani ghore mam niyojayasi keshava व्यामिश्रेणेव वाक्येन बुद्धिं मोहयसीव मे तदेकं वद निश्चित्य येन श्रेयोऽहमाप्नुयाम्. In two verses, Arjuna is trying to ask Krishna, why do you ask me to do this cruel act of participating in this war when you know for sure that yogis who just renunciate everything, that's what you described, renunciate everything and focus on the mind and evolve and realize God. That seems to be a better option, Krishna. Let me go that way. Why do you insist me to engage in battle? That was the first verse. In the second verse, he says that Vyamishreneva vakyena. With your contradicting words, my intelligence seems to be deluded. Now I am totally confused. Tadekam vada nischitya. Tat ekam, one, vada, please let me know. What is that one way? that I should do. Nischitva, decisively, precisely. Yena shreyo hamapnuyan. Shreyaha aham apnuyan. Aham, me. Shreyaha, good. What is good to me? Tell me that one thing. I am hearing contradictory statements from you. I know that you are saying all these things because you have a lot of love towards me, mercy towards me. I understand that. However, my mind is deluded by hearing this. I'm not understanding it. So, would you please clarify which one is better? At this time, to me, looks like sannyas seems to be the better option because I just let go of everything from this battlefield and I'll run away. That's like most of us, right? We feel like this family life and going through this, not all of us. Some of us might get to that state where, is this all about it? Just repeatedly doing all those things. Why can't I just renunciate and accept sannyas? That seems to be a better option. That is in that same vein, Arjuna is now asking that seems to be a better option. And now still you are asking me to say go on a war. But this seems to be doesn't go with that, whatever that you said. Let's see what Krishna is answering to that. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Lokesmin dvividha nishtha pura prokta maya nagha jnana-yogena sankhyanam karma-yogena yoginam. So Krishna, Bhagavanu Vacha. Bhagavan is the blessed one. Bhagavan means the blessed one. Said, Lokesmin, Lokaha in this world, Asmin in this world, Dvividha Nishtha. Two types of path available. Dvividha, Nishtha, faiths or path, you can think of it. Pura prokta mayanagha. Pura, previously, Proktha explained Maya. He says that he puts his hand on himself and says Maya, by me. Two different paths have been explained by me previously. Looks like you are not remembering it. Let me now list them down. Jnana yogena sankhyanam. Jnana yoga. Karma yogena yoginam. There are two paths, Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga. Jnana Yoga is for those who are philosophically inclined, which is called Sankhyanam, one who has their intellect and who has already got their desires under control and their mind is perfectly stabilized. To them, Jnana Yoga. And for those most of us to whom desires are still lurking in the mind, indriyas are not under control, to them karma yoga is the best option. That is what now Krishna is alluding towards. So it is not that you have to understand, you have to do this or that, but this is for one group of people and the other path is for entirely different set of people. And to you, Arjuna, Karma Yoga seems to be the better option. That is the reason that I was insisting you that you go this path and go engage yourself in this battle. That is what Krishna's intention. Now, if you remember the previous chapter, Jnana Yoga, first he began with that Karman Yeva Adhikarasthe, right? That shloka, where he mentioned that actions are important. You cannot escape. You cannot escape from not doing the actions. Engage yourself in actions, but do not expect fruits of that action. So that shloka he mentioned, that is for karma yogis. Yoginam. Whenever we say yogi, it refers to karma yogi. Now, later part of the chapter, he spoke about kurmanganiva, kurmonganiva sarvashaha. So that means that, pull all your indriyas inside, just like how tortoise will do it, and then sit on meditating upon me, and then slowly you will get to a state where your indriyas, your desires will go away, will vanish, and then prasadam adhikachati, you will get that prasadam. So this seems to be not in line, and now he says that all those I mentioned about to control, to sit on meditation and then renunciate everything, renounce everything, are all for jnana yogis. They can just let go of even their life that they are living, and they can go to the Himalayas, wherever they wanted to sit, meditate upon me, because they are endowed naturally with that ability to get into the meditation naturally without any effort. Whereas for most of the people, that is not quite natural. They will have to make extra effort. They will have to try hard to get to a state where they can sit in meditation for hours together, not just 1 hour, 2 hours, 4 hours, hours together. Then when they open their eyes, they will ask, they won't even know that many hours have passed. That is how the yogis, if you have read the story of Ramana Maharishi, he described it's clearly, it describes the life of a jnana yogi. He used to be sitting in a cave for hours together, meditating, without even realizing that it is quite dangerous. Poisonous snakes infest that area. He is not even bothered by that. Those snakes go around him, his body, everywhere. He is not even aware, because he knew for sure that he is not that body. And he has lost consciousness of his body, consciousness of his mind, and he is with that Atman. So he doesn't even care or know that such a snake came, crawled on his body, and many people would go pick him up from within that cave, bring him outside, place him in the open space. And still after hours, he will not even still be aware. After hours together, he had been in that state, he will open up his eyes, and then he will ask what happened. That is the state that naturally one has to get into to become eligible even for jnana yoga. And if most of the people on this earth are still attracted towards the worldly pleasures, their indriyas are out of control, to them jnana yoga is not the right path, Arjuna. I would not recommend to you. But that doesn't mean that there is no hope. Karma yoga is there for you, and both path leads to the common destination. So you should do this. That is what his point is going to drive. He's driving towards that. Let's see what happens next. Na karmanam anarambhan naishkarmyam purushoshnute nacha san nacha sanyasana siddhim samadhigacchati. Na karmanam anarambhan. We cannot abstain from work and expect that you will be free from reactions. See, the problem is karma yogi. We all will say that it is easy. I will just abstain from work, everything, my responsibilities, my duties, everything, and then I will go back and then I will start becoming a yogi. I will just do meditation all the time, and then so now Krishna refutes that approach totally by mentioning to Arjuna in this statement that na karmanam anarambhan. Anarambhan is abstaining or staying away from doing the work. Na karmanam is not doing it. Naishkarmyam is free from evil reactions, because now whenever we do an action, there is always a reaction, right? Either it will be the fruits. In that, what that it means is you will get some fruits, or it won't be successful, you will get hit either by uh, earning some anger from others, or you yourself are frustrated that it is not successful by doing any action, right? When you actions doesn't mean that working for an organization we are resigning. That many people will think that I'm working for a company, I renounce, I wanted to just go leave all these things and then go. So they resign the company and they think that that is not the action. Actions means everything, starting from the time that we wake up in the morning, breathe, brush, do everything. That is actions. Any action, right? That is from within, even inside the body. There are hundreds of heart is working even without we knowing. That is an action that this body is performing. That action. Digestive system, it's doing its own job, right? Even when we are sleeping, it is digesting the food. And respiratory system automatically working. Even though we are breathing, we think that we are breathing, but we are not even aware that we are breathing. Respiratory system automatically. So actions are there in our body, and these actions, you cannot just say that I will renunciate it and I will not earn any evil reactions. So most people, when you ask them to, when you speak about this Bhagavad Gita and then say that, do all the actions but do not expect any fruits, give everything to Krishna, then the one question that you can expect is, why should I even do any actions? I'll just stay away from all actions so that I will not earn any good or bad, which is the one that is desirable for realization, enlightenment, right? For enlightenment, you should not have good, you should not have bad reactions. Papam and punyam both should not be there. You should not do work for papam, of course, right? Whatever that you do, you should not result in any evil reactions from others, from the world. And that way, you should not do any actions that results in good reactions also. The punya karmas should also be not there. I'm doing it for goodness. We will just donate clothes to 100 people every year, which is a good thing. Let's say we are doing it every month, we will donate, and then I'm propagating it, let's say, and people are all saying that that person is Partha is good, he's donating it, and I'm feeling happy about it because I'm accepting that with the thought that I will earn punyams. Now, even though I'm doing a good thing, I'm not doing any bad thing, I'm donating to people, but the thought that I hold in my mind is, I earn punyam, I earn punyam. I will earn punyam, there is no doubt about it. But that is an enemy for enlightenment. Again, I'm having a desire towards the punyams being earned. That is what we saw in the previous chapter itself. So, doing an action, of course, I don't want to do any evil reactions. I don't want to get any evil reactions. Good reactions also I should not get. Once you say this to people, the next response is, let me not even do anything. What is the big deal about it? When you do something, you will get good or bad. So, and you are saying that neither accept good nor accept bad. So, let me abstain from work. That is the justification that we will all have, right? Now, Krishna is saying that you cannot do that. Then Arjuna asks, why not? By engaging yourself in actions, you think about it. When we engage in actions, what do? We just go out and speak to people and then we do some actions. Definitely we will end up with exchanging our ideas, listening to their thoughts, opinions, and it goes back and forth, right? Slowly what we are trying to do is, let's say others accuse us. Just giving an example. The moment others accuse us, you are a yogi. You have decided that you will follow the path of yoga and the yogam, right? Whatever Krishna is asking us to do, karma yoga, and we are just living our life. Now, once you get a negative reaction from others, that slowly will you will start analyzing that. Oh, morning I was just doing this, helping her out or helping him out, and I was yelled at. So you start analyzing, and all of a sudden I became so furious about myself, and I also started yelling back at them. So what is happening is you are using your intellect to analyze the situation, right? It's not that so, and you think like, oh, I feel it looks like that person is getting angry. That is okay, but having read this Bhagavad Gita, heard this Bhagavad Gita, I am also getting angry. Why? So what is the desire? Because Krishna already said that anger is because of underlying desire. So what desire is there in my mind that is provoking me into this anger? Then we identify the root cause of the desire, and once we are aware of that desire, we slowly are removing that from our mind, potentially, right? And repeat again, it might repeat itself again. We are aware of it. The more we are aware of our inner mechanism, why we are reacting, or why we are emotionally upset or even happy also. Why am I all of a sudden happy? That awareness also brings a balance in our outlook towards the world, right? That is will help us to refine our inner system, and that is possible only when we engage in actions. If I don't even engage in actions, I don't even meet anyone. If I don't even meet anyone, I don't even do any help to others or do any activity with others. If I don't even do any activity with others, of course I will not be yelled at. If I am not yelled at, then I cannot say that, okay, I don't have any anger. Let's say I simply close my door and sit inside the house for 10 years. I don't interact with the world at all. I'm inside the house. I don't do any work. I eat, sleep, eat, sleep, eat, sleep. I cannot say that I am not involved in any actions. I didn't get angry in the last 1 year, and so I have conquered anger. No, that won't work, because the moment we step out 11th year, somebody slaps on us, then we will get angry. Slaps on us, of course we should get angry, right? No, there is this mm, a North Indian yogi called Tukaram. You might have heard about him. He used to go out on the street, give money to others, and ask him to slap him. Why? He wanted to test if he is still getting, if anger is still inside him or not. That is how people have uh, people were worried about their own behaviors. Anger is one of the behaviors, right? We have thousands of behaviors inside which we don't know. That is a problem. And a person who is spiritually progressing will be aware of uh, each and every behavior that is happening inside them. So now Krishna in this verse says that if you are not even engaging, do not assume that your inner impressions will be erased. No, only by encountering the world, engaging in actions, you become aware, because the society is nothing but a mirror of ourselves, right? It's nothing but a mirror of our own behavior. Whatever that we do is what the society will reflect back to us. There is no other way to check our behavior than to get ourselves in the middle of the society and keep doing things. Do not assume that inaction will help you to achieve that analysis. Even though you are on the path of karma yoga, you have to have little bit of jnana, right? That analysis that we are doing, little bit of jnana to analyze your behavior. And the next line, nacha sanyasana deva siddhim samadhi gacchati. There he says that, let's say you have renounced everything. Let's say you have renounced everything and your desires are not there for you. Even then, actions are needed, because you'll have to, just because you have renounced everything doesn't mean that you have understood yourself internally better, right? So actions are still needed to purify your own behavior. You cannot still you have to have the uh, use your engage yourself in actions to identify your own inner behavior. So in either case, you will have to engage yourself in actions to get yourself refined and prepared for the next level, which is, which you can think of it as directly you can reach enlightenment. Karma yoga is the only thing, and you can reach enlightenment. And by doing the karma yoga repeatedly, slowly you mature into your mind is purified, where your desires are slowly waning away, and you promote yourself to the level of being eligible to the jnana yoga. Let's see the next verse. Nahi kaschit kshanam api jatu tishtatya karma krit karyate hyavashah karma sarvah prakriti jair gunai. So not even a single moment anyone can escape not doing actions. So you can see that every verse Krishna is stressing towards actions, actions, do action. That means that engage, involve yourself in the family. Do not, think of renunciation. Spirituality, most people think that, you might have also heard about in your families, right? Many people, when you go and say that I am, just devoted to God, and then that means that, oh, you renunciated everything, you become a muni, you become a rishi, that's it, that is what here is refuting it. Do not think that spirituality means becoming a yogi and sitting in Himalayas, or renouncing everything. You cannot renounce, because even a person, any person renounced also, not even for a single moment, he can be without actions. Nahi kaschit, anyone, nahi, never, can never, kshanam api, even for a moment, jatu tishtatya karma krit, akarma krit is not doing anything. Tishtasya is to stay as not doing anything. It is never possible at all. Karyate hyavashah karma sarvah prakriti jairgunaihi. The second line he says that this body, anyone who is made of this material body, is bound to do actions. They cannot escape. The reason is that this body, materialistic body of ours, is by nature action driven. Since that time that we were born, all we know is actions, 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 actions. So can you think of a moment where you are actionless? Maybe during sleeping time. Even sleeping time also we are not doing, but our body is still doing actions, pumping the blood or breathing or digestion, right? Maintenance actions happen within the body. And so actions are the only ones that humans know about it. And that is the reason, Arjuna, that karma yoga is the right path for you, because your body is meant to do actions. We keep doing actions. Who will, if you ask someone to go sit half an hour for meditation, you cannot randomly choose anyone and say that to go sit on meditation for half an hour, right? Unless that person is already trained. Now, but you can ask anyone to say that go and then get some flowers, I want to do some puja. Then people will be like, there will be more number of people, I can go get some flowers. And they will, even if it takes half an hour, they will go drive, get flowers, or they go anything, fruits, go get fruits, they will get it. That is action. So we are all used to doing actions than inaction. So that is what in this verse he says, that not even for a moment you can be without action, because I have designed your body that way. And why is it so? The reason is this material body is made up of materials from the Panchabhutam. Panchabhutam is your air, water, earth, space, fire, right? Five elements basically. Five elements is already there in this body. Five elements, nature itself is, you would have never seen them at rest, right? When anything that fire, you cannot expect to be inactive. There is nothing like inactive fire. So the body has some fire element. Water cannot be inactive unless you just put it in a, but ocean, you can think of it, right? Rains, you can think of it. Motion, they are all in motion. Wind, body is made up of wind. When is it that wind has stayed in one place or without any action? They are meant. That is the reason that this body will keep doing action. You would have seen people, just if you ask them to sit in a chair for a few minutes, they'll be just doing something like this or something like this, or just keep like this, right? Or something yarning, or some. Nowadays we don't even have to do. We have this on hand. We don't have anybody to do. We just take this and start browsing. We don't even know what we are doing until if you ask them why they are doing that. I'm just waiting for someone to come, so I'm just scanning it. Just put this down and feel happy that you are staying alone for a few moments. Can't we stay with ourselves for a few seconds? We are willing to talk to others for hours together, talk with others for hours, but we are not willing to stay with ourselves even for a few months. We are bored. We wanted some external thing to be there on hand. That is body. That is what he now clearly Krishna says, that is the nature. Your body will go keep doing things, actions. Either it will, people will shake legs, if you had seen, or with hands, some action or the other. If nothing else is there, people will just look at the ceiling and start thinking about something. They are not able to flip the screen on their mobile phone, or they exhausted that they will flip the images in the mind. What happened last week? Oh, that was a good trip. This is not. We flip images in our mind. That is also an action, right? Even though it is no, our actions are involved. That is what now he's saying. Now in the second line, he says that prakriti, because of your prakriti, that word is material nature, is of that. Is always will drive you towards action. And what we are learning is becoming aware of this body nature is very important, very important, if you ask me. first level of understanding ourselves is to know about this body. Or this body, since we are thinking that this body is me, we are not paying that much attention to it. Rather, we are paying different way of attention where externally beautifying it, right? That is okay, but also to understand the nature of it, not from a medical perspective, which is okay. Knowledge wise, we can actually learn that. That is also good, actually, right? Knowledge about how internal organs work, that will amaze us. We will wonder. We go and then see that Niagara falls. People will be like, wow, look at it, how water falls. To me, if anyone understands the true nature of how our body works, our mind works, all the wonders are right inside us. We can think about it and amaze ourselves every moment, then visiting places and externally enjoying. That is beauty. This is beauty. This itself is a beautiful creation of the universe. Each one of us is a beautiful creation in itself, right? So that is what we enjoy. And by knowing about this body, that this is made of material nature, that is why it is just growing and it is beautiful. After some years, it is just decaying. The skin is just shrinking and losing strength. Inescapable. How much soever nutritious food, vitamins, minerals eat. But I'm not saying that we should not eat, but that knowledge should, back of the mind should be there. I'm not saying that, okay, just because that knowledge is there, avoid all the nutrients, minerals. Anyway, it's going to, do not get into that kind of argument. But being aware that, okay, to some extent, there is a line that we can draw. That is good enough. I have to protect my body because this Atman is in this body. I'll have to protect it. That is good enough. But beyond that, pampering this body is not needed because that knowledge will help. It's going to shrink because it is material nature. After all, a plant or a tree, you can see that a plant when it is young and the tree that is grown older, you can see that it is decaying already, right? It is decaying in the sense it is aged out already. That is how anything in this nature will be. And so, and because of that, engage in action. Karma yoga is the right thing for you. That is what by this shloka he is driving. Next, let's see. Karmendriyani sanyamya yaste manasa smaran indriyarthan vimudhatma mityachara sa uchyate. So Krishna is attacking someone. People will all of a sudden, without becoming matured in the spiritual path, if they renounce everything and walk into the path of spirituality. I should not say walk into the path of spirituality, because everyone is in the path of spirituality, but renouncing and going the jnana yoga route. I wanted to just leave my wife, leave my husband, leave my children. I'm fed up with them. Forget it. I'm going away. Right? People will just walk out of their home. Most of us won't do it. Few people will say that I just wanted to take sannyas and go. Right? So that is the level of frustration. And few people, they might even just have that idea. Out of them, few people might just even do it. That is what Krishna is saying here. Karma, what he says is, people who just do that, take the extreme step of renouncing it without preparing their mind or indriyas or buddhi. Just they got an idea that jnana yoga is superior, they will just renounce everything and then go, only to realize later that their mind is still deluded with attractions, desires, egos, because they haven't truly understood the nature of this mind and the body. then they cannot steadily stay in that path of renunciation. And so it is they, and what will happen is they will now start living a double life where they will pretend themselves to be a renunciate, a jnana yogi, right? Externally they will pretend themselves, but internally they will have all the, in their mind they will have all the desires about enjoying all the worldly things. So karmendriyani, which is the organs of actions, so they will not, they will shrink, they will withdraw every organs of actions. Organs of actions is your hands and legs and mouth. So they will say that I will not speak to anyone, I will not do any actions with my hands, I'm going to be a renunciate. And then they will say, but ya aste manasa smaran, manasa smaran, in their mind they smaran, they just meditate upon the next line, indriyarthan. Indriyarthan is, arthan is the objects, indriya is our indriyas, so the objects of pleasures. So in our mind they are meditating upon the objects of pleasures. They are called vimudhatma. Vimudhatma is that um, foolish people. And mithyacharaha, there is a new word is saying, hypocrites. Mithyachara, acharaha, we know that one who follows the discipline, right, strictly. Mithyacharaha is one who pretends to follow, who fools himself and also the world, who thinks that who is fooling the world but he is fooling himself. That is the meaning of this verse. So that is quite possible to happen where, we, when prematurely, not yet ready, but the person assumes that that person is already ready for sannyas, and he accepts the path of walking to Himalayas, then he is verily called a hypocrite, right? We don't want to earn that name, not for others, from others, but even for ourselves. That is the most pitiable state anyone can be in. Either, for that matter, it is better to be a guy who has never known anything about spiritual intelligence, and better be like rest of the world, enjoying the comforts, the pleasures of the world, without even being aware of anything like Bhagwad Gita or Krishna, or right, for that, instead of being in that state of hypocrisy where we fool ourselves. That is better. When we are into this, we will have to be 100%. But Krishna says that renunciation is not yet for everyone because they cannot do it. So they will be stuck. They will be in the middle. And once they are stuck in the middle, they are neither able to control their indriyas, nor able to follow the path of advance in the path of spirituality. They are stuck. They can neither make progress nor can go back to the real original life, because they already portrayed, they put up some image of themselves and also to others. Both will prevent them, they will be stuck. So that is why it has to be, it should not be done. So there is a story that I heard from my mother. I'd like to share. I used to remember that, where this is a story about exactly this verse. A person, a woman, due to unfortunate situations, who became a prostitute, right? Who is having her house opposite to a brahmana who was performing all these bhajans, nama sankirtans of Rama, Krishna. Every day in his house he will perform nama sankirtans. And this woman's house is right opposite to that Brahmin's house. While every day when the Nama Sankirtan happens in the evening, because evening is the time, visitors used to visit this woman's house. The Brahmana in that house, even though he is the one who is organizing that bhajan, he used to look at that opposite house and wonder, oh, 8%, 9%, 10% already. So he used to be interested in opposite house, not in the Nama Sankirtan that he himself has organized in his own house. Whereas the woman who is there in that house was just worried that such a beautiful Nama Sankirtan is happening and I am such a unfortunate to be living this life. I wish, I beg that I get a better life next birth. And so when both of them died, she went to heaven and he went to hell. And he happens to know about, that Brahmana happens to know about that this woman went to heaven. And he asked, are you kidding me? I have been performing Nama Sankirtan for every day, but I came to hell. I'll be okay at least if she's also in hell. Why did she go to heaven? That's what we always think, right? At least I ended up in hell. Some friend is in heaven. We won't be happy. If I'm in hell, that person should also be along with me. Now, Yamaduta answered him that, well, that is because you all the time were thinking about opposite house, while that woman, even though she was living in a horrible situation, sinful situation, her mind was totally engaged in Nama Sankirtan. But your mind, even though you are bodily present in that Nama Sankirtan, your mind was 100% in the opposite house. So what is more important is body and mind should be together aligned in whatever that we are doing. At any action that we do, even today also, when we that body and mind should be together, and that is when it can result in a good effect. And once you prematurely accept the path of Jnana Yoga, then what will result is only by body we will be a Jnana Yogi, but in mind our desires will wander elsewhere. That is what Krishna is trying to say in this shloka. Now if you had observed even the actions that we do today, for example, this is a remote, right? There is a remote there, we pick a remote. The expectation is our body and mind should with awareness pick this remote, and when we are pressing this button there should be awareness still in my mind, oh, I'm pressing this. But since we are used to doing this task more frequently, we will just take the remote and then we will just press it. It will be right, I'm not saying it will not be right, but similar is true when you are driving the car. You'll just press the brake and then press the gas, and then we'll drive to a destination and we're back without even aware that how many lights I stopped, how many times I had to brake. If you ask people, why should I worry about it? But awareness is that when body is doing anything, mind should absolutely be present in that. That is when we are progressing in spiritual path. That is a difference between a person who is who is waking up in the spiritual process versus a person who is sleeping still outside, right? Who is just drifting in life and don't even know anything. First thing is that awareness within ourselves. So the body and mind should be congruent to each other. They should work together. Whatever that we do, then we will never do. If you do that way, body will not work without my mind's awareness. We will not eat anything randomly. We will not see anything incorrectly or wrongly. Right? We will not hear anything that is not needed because my mind and body are cooperating 100% with each other, and my mind has decided that I will follow Krishna's instruction, right? And I will withdraw my indriyas. That is what mind's desire is. Now body just goes and then grabs a piece of cake or mixture or whatever that is and then puts it into the mouth. So mouth and hand are operating independent of the mind. Then all of a sudden, oh, I was thinking not to eat, but I ate. Who ate? We are the one who ate, and we will say that I was deciding not to eat, but somehow I don't know, I just did it. And those is because that is because precisely about this disconnect between the body and the mind. That is what he is driving in the 6th verse. Let's move on to the next verse. Yastindriyani manasa niyamyarabhathe Arjuna karmendriyai karma yogam asaktah savishishyate. So in this verse, mind, yastva indriyani, one who, indriyani, this indriyas, manasaha, using the manasa, using the mind, controls the indriyas. Eyes, pancha indriyas, right? Eyes, nose, tongue, skin, and ears. Controls this. Niyamya. Niyamya. There is a word niyamya, right? Manasa niyamya. That is to control. Niyamya is to control. So mind is to control the indriyas. Arabhate. There is a word called Arabhate Arjuna. He is addressing Arjuna. If the mind is trying to control the indriyas, Arabhate. Begin to control. Underline that. He's not even speaking about people who have already controlled. He's talking about people like you and me. Beginning to control, because we are all new people, right? We are all new to the spirituality. We don't have that much experience. So he is saying that Arabhate, instead of following that Jnana Yoga and then becoming an hypocrite by renouncing everything and all, instead see this, Arjuna. Karma, using your mind, just begin to control the indriyas. And then the next line he says, karmendriyaihi. Karmendriya means the organs of actions, which is hands and legs and mouth. Mouth speaking, right? So if with your hands and legs and mouth, engage yourself in karma yoga. So there are 5 jnana indriyas, which is eyes, nose, ears, mouth and skin. These are jnana indriyas. 5 of them. 5 karmendriyas, which is hands, legs, mouth. Using this, first jnanendriyas, using the mind, restrain them. And using your rest of the 5 action organs, where you can perform actions, your hands and legs and mouth, engage yourself in karma yoga. That is much, much superior. Sa vishishyate. See, he says that they are much superior. Sa is they, vishishyate, superior. So instead of people who say that they have renounced everything and then halfway through walking and then they realize that, oh, my mind is still deluded, stay here at home and do your with your mind, try to bring the indriyas under your control, and with your action organs perform the actions. Then those people are much, much better. But again, asaktaha, there is a word called asaktaha, right? Asaktaha is perform your actions without attachment. That is very, very, very important. Just because, so just for all this time we have been saying that do the karma yoga, right? Do not misunderstand that that means that I can just live my life. That's what Krishna is already trying to tell what I am already doing. Do the actions. Do not renounce everything and walk to Karma Yoga. Means we know clearly what it is. The Karma Yoga means do actions, but whatever reaction you get, give it to him. Sacrifice the fruits. Do not have any thought or ideas about I did it, so I earned it. Give it away. Give it away. But how do we do that? That is what he's going to do later on in the verses. How you can actually perform that. Because simply to say that is Bhagavad Gita is not written. Give all actions to me. Then Bhagavad Gita is ended now, right? So later verses is going to say how you can, lead a life where you can not do an action, where you can do an action with no attachment, right? That is what is going to be next. Last verse, let's see here. Niyatam kuru karmatvam karmajyayo hyah karmanah sharira yatra pichate na prasidhyeda karmanah. Niyatam, constantly. Kuru, do. Karma, actions. Constantly keep doing actions. Tvam, you do it. Karma jyayo hi akarmanaha. Any action that you do is better than not doing any actions at all. Not doing actions at all. That actions are must, but again, not any action. Any action again mean that actions that are not in Vedas. We don't have to go and look for what are there in Vedas. Let me start doing it. Whatever that we are living, whatever that we are doing is actually as per Vedas. We can think of it as long as we are not stealing, we are not robbing others, we are not gambling. Then we are all living as per Vedas, right? We are earning, we are working, and we are earning. But the only thing is that those actions have to be, the fruits have to be sacrificed. And the second line says that Sharira Yatra Api. Sharira Yatra is progression of this material body. Anyway, we will have to live. When we are living, this body has to progress, live in life, right? So even for maintaining that material body, you will have to do actions, right? Any action like taking bath, sleeping, these are all actions. So you cannot escape. So na prasiddha, it's not possible. It's not possible to avoid. Even for maintaining your own body, you will have to do actions. So keep doing actions constantly. So what we all have, one good thing is that the when people are advertising for the diet plan, I haven't been to any diet plans, but I just see the advertisements. So they will say that no changes to your lifestyle, which is a big selling point. Because if you ask me to run for 1 hour, that is your exercise regimen, and then eat this diet plan, then it will work, reduce your weight by 20 pounds, then I'm not that interested, because you're trying to change my lifestyle. But here Krishna is also trying to sell, but only thing he is speaking the truth. Others, they are not saying the truth. But he's saying that no change in lifestyle is ever needed. Keep doing your own actions, whatever that we are doing, but asaktaha, with a sense of detachment, but with a sense of awareness. So it's kind of not able to go well together. We'll have to be aware of what we are doing, but aware that I didn't do it, but I have been made to do it, which is also 100% true. It is not a figurative speech. You would have heard many figurative speeches in spirituality that we are not doing it. Uparwala, he makes us do, right? That's not a figurative speech at all. You are going to appreciate that in the next few verses. Then you yourself will say that, wow, that is really true, right? So that is indeed true. Every motion, every action, everything that is happening, moving in this world, you see, you observe within ourselves. Within ourselves is there is a truth. Now, everything that is moving inside, we don't do anything, right? So that is what he's saying. Even with will, whatever that we are doing is not that you are doing it, but I am making you do it. That is why I am saying that do not take any fruits out of it, give it to me. You don't earn that fruit at all because you are not, first of all, doing anything. We will see more about it in our next session. Until then, have a good week ahead. मङ्गलाशासनरैर्मदाचार्यपुरोगमैः सर्वैश्च पूर्वैराचार्यैः सत्कृतायास्तु मङ्गलम्.